Welcome to the Piston Fanatic. I'm your host, Dave Dalton, and I'm excited to share my passion and perspective of our Detroit Pistons as we go on this fantastic voyage together. I've been a diehard Piston fan since the days of Dave Bing and Bob Lanier. I've also been the varsity basketball coach of a very successful program in northern Michigan. I want to thank all of you for listening. I really appreciate it. Please subscribe if you haven't yet. Hit that like button. Pistons won another one. It wasn't pretty. I mean, at times, actually, at the beginning of the game was pretty. We just were blowing right by them. We were running the floor. Our team just ran up and down the floor so fast, and we got all these fast break shots. We ended up with 36 fast break points, which is really high, and we're second in the league, as we mentioned before. But 9 out of 10 wins, so we're not going to complain about that after last year. But we were up by 25. We had a 25-point lead. We were blowing them out. They looked pathetic, to be honest, and they couldn't make a shot. They still didn't really shoot well, but it got cut to 6. Their lead got cut to 6, and we just in the third quarter we looked like we didn't care. But I will say this: I coached a long time. It was high school. It wasn't NBA. Is a whole different thing. But human nature. I talk about it all the time. My teams would get way up, even in the first quarter. We always pressed a lot, and I take off the press, I start subbing in, and we just let down. In many of those games where we would be ahead by 20 or 30 or something in the first half, second half, they would outscore us. And I mean, they were not even some teams that, they weren't near as good as us. But that just happens when you just, again, you just don't play with the energy. You just can't, even if you coach tries to tell you, come on, we got to go, we got to play. No matter what the score is, we got to still play hard. But Cade Cunningham, another average night for the all-star, all-NBA player, and we're just so used to, even if he has bad shooting nights, he ends up scoring 25, it seems like. And tonight, first half, he was 0 for 1. 0 for 1, and last night, he was 0 for 3 or something at halftime, and then one of the shots was like a desperation last-second shot that I don't count those, so he was really 0 for 2 in the first half. And so be honest with you, I love he's unselfish, but he's been unselfish all year. But he was not aggressive in some of these games, like with Denver. Denver was really doubling him early and often, and other teams have done it where they trap him. Like one game recently where they trapped him in the second half before he even got over half court. The game he had 29. It was the Hawks, I think, and he had 29 at halftime, and they started trapping him as soon as he got to before he got over half court. That wasn't the case tonight. I mean, obviously they doubled him and they gave him some attention, but it wasn't, he just was not going after shots. So for whatever reason that was, I don't know. So he still ended up having 15 points, and he had 5 turnovers, he had a couple blocks. But Jalen Duren, I used to say when he was just 19 or whatever playing for the Pistons, I think he was 18 when he started, but I used to say he was a boy playing among men, playing like a man playing among boys. And he was sensational tonight. He had six blocks, so that was, I think, his career high. He had 18 points on 7 shots. So do the math. And he didn't shoot a 3. So, well, he made 6 out of 7 from the floor, and then he made all of his free throws. So he had 11 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, but he has been playing great. JB talked about it after the game about how consistent he's been more, and consistency is a big thing. The difference between being good and great is consistency, or between being bad and good is a little bit more consistency. And so, yeah, it was a game that we needed to win. Now we're going to be going on the road, and we got games at the Jazz. So our game in Detroit, where we lost to the Jazz, was the big turnaround of the season. Even I remember 2 years ago when we won 14 games, and we played. We won 2 of our first 3, and then early in the season we played Portland, and we were way ahead, like 14 up in the fourth quarter, and we let it slip away. And it just took like the heart of our team, and we never recovered. This year we're playing the Jazz. They had 5 wins at the time. They were like 5-22, and we were winning games, and we let them beat us. And then we had to go on the road and play really good teams, and I think that is what kind of turned this season around for us. If you had to point to one particular time during the season that really changed was we just got really determined after we let that game slip away, and we just really united on the road, and we really just locked down and played way better. And so, yeah, it's cool. 34-27, and there's only 4 teams that's got more than 34 wins. Of course, we played more, so we've lost more games than the Pacers and the Bucks, but we won 34 and they've only won 33. But the Heat are behind us, and we still got a decent pad lead on the Heat. They're 28-30. So yeah, we just got to keep on churning, man. It's going to be tough going on the road at Jazz, and they got NBA players. They got some talent, and then we got to play Wednesday at the Clippers, and they're going to want revenge. And we're playing them at their place, and we beat them, and now they're going to want to get back. And I don't know if Kawhi's going to play, so we didn't play against Kawhi, or Powell did not play against us when we beat the Clippers at home recently. And then Saturday we got to go to the Warriors. And it stinks because the Warriors weren't having a very good year. Then they got Jimmy Butler, and their season's just kind of completely turned around. And so now we got to play them there, and they got this renewed energy, and plus a really good player who draws a lot of fouls. And so that's going to be tough. And then we play the Blazers, who were terrible for the first half of the year, and they have just really turned things around under Chauncey Billups, and they're really playing well, and they're beating teams. And yeah, so it's going to be a tough week for our guys. But also, I just want to mention, I'm going to mention it again on Monday. I love doing this. I love you guys, and it's been such a phenomenal season. I don't know how to. I should be able to do a podcast when I'm not at home. I should be able to just do one on my phone, but I don't know how to do it. I'm terrible with technology, and so I'm going to be going. I haven't visited my brother in Florida for like 30 years or maybe more. And so I'm going to go see my brother. We're really close. And so I'm looking forward to that. But I'm going to miss doing the podcast. So Cade, there was one great play where Cade posted up. They throw the ball to Cade in the post. The double comes right away. He kicks it out. The next guy kicks it to another guy. He kicks it to another guy, kicks to another guy, and the ball goes down to Duren. Everybody, all 5 guys on the team touch the ball. Bang, bang, bang. And Duren gets a dunk in it and one. So that was pretty cool. One weird thing that happened during the game, and I don't know if the NBA, I don't know if they ever would review it or not, but Zaire Williams is playing Cade up near half court, and Greg Kelser thinks this kind of ignited our team, but he's playing to him, up on him, and all of a sudden he sticks his chin right into Cade's shoulder. Cade does not initiate the contact. Zaire completely initiates it, sticks his chin, and then flops and goes flying backwards, and they call it on Cade. And so that's kind of when the game turned around. Beasley started out the game on fire, just smoking. He was like 4 for his first 5 threes he made. And he has just, continued to have his great year. He's just done a lot of things, shooting the three. He's leading the league in threes. And he's made at least 5 threes in the game, 26 times, more than anybody in the NBA. But he got into it with one of the other players on the other team, and they got double technicals early in the game. And then, I think it was in the fourth quarter, somehow there's a timeout. Somehow Beasley gets into the Nets huddle. He goes to their bench, and then he gets booted. So we're lucky that it wasn't a close game at the end. So they cut it to 6 at the end of the fourth quarter, but we ended up winning, like I said, 115-94. So it wasn't very close. But yeah, I think that was really cheap what Zaire Williams did to Cade. But I think that teams are going to try to do stuff like that and double Cade, and so we'll have to see what goes on. Obviously, we know what we can do. If we just put Duren up high at the high post or just above the free throw line, and then we're playing 5 on 4 on 3, and then we can get easy baskets most of the time. So yeah, and Beasley's one of the only guys ever shooting over 40% and 9 on 9 attempts. People shoot 40% sometimes, but they're not shooting that high a volume, so that makes it a lot harder. So I want to talk a little bit about JB. and Coach of the Year, and there's a lot of talk, but Kenny Atkinson is I'm sure he's going to win it, and it's kind of funny because JB got fired from that team last year. Kenny Atkinson comes in there, but I just want to reiterate this. Last year, they made it to the second round of the playoffs with JB coaching. And maybe some of the guys, maybe Donovan Mitchell didn't like JB. I don't know what exactly for sure what the story is. I kind of heard that was a rumor, but I don't know if it was just scuttlebutt. But they got these four guys that are all stars, and Mobley and Garland and Mitchell and Allen. They're all sensational, but they were always injured last year. Maybe they played 19 games. I think it was 19 games out of 82 that they played together, and they didn't all get to play during the playoffs. And so that really, is not fair to, why they fired JB. But Kenny Atkinson, you got to give him all the credit in the world. But here's what I want to talk about. I wasn't thrilled when we hired JB. I was fine with it. I thought it was a solid hire. I didn't think it was as great a hire as it is, but I just give Trajan Langdon all this credit for having the guts. He didn't know. A lot of guys have connection. I thought he might hire, I'm slipping my mind, he was up for the Pistons job when we hired Monty, one of their assistants. And it would have been easier for Trajan to hire somebody that he knew, but he didn't know JB, and he hired him, and it turns out that it was a great hire. And also, the vets that we signed, I've said this before, so I don't like guys that repeat themselves all the time, but nobody wanted Hardaway. The Mavericks were trying to get rid of Hardaway in his contract for at least 3 years, and they would have given away stuff to get him. And we really got 2 draft picks. I'll never get over the fact that we gave up Grimes, who's tearing it up for Philadelphia. But still, he's helped us, even though I still think that he's the guy that could be the odd man out next year, that we would not re-sign him so we can have more money and then also open up more playing time for some of our young guys who have played so well this year. But nobody wanted Beasley. $6 million a year. We got Beasley. Anybody could have had him. They paid him $8 million. I don't know what it took. Tobias, we overpaid. We were bidding against ourselves. I love Tobias. Again, when Tobias was on our team before we traded into the Clippers for Blake, he was my favorite Piston, and I knew he'd be a good presence in the locker room. But he started out the year not very good, and even. Well, Hardaway, I had it written down. Hardaway started out the year shooting in the low 30s for the first half of the year or part of the year, and then he's been shooting much better. The last 25 games, he shot really well from 3. So, but anyway, Tobias has really turned his season around. He was a big disappointment for the first part of the season, but we knew that he was going to be a good calming presence to our team and a solid player, and he's been that. So, but the guys, nobody else wanted Tobias, nobody wanted Beasley. Anybody could have got him for more than $6 million, and certainly nobody wanted Hardaway. And that's our 3 guys that we signed. So Trajan, deserves credit for picking those guys out of the garbage heap, and they were the right guys. They fit in great with this team. They've been good leaders. Tobias really hasn't provided any floor spacing. His 3-point percentage hasn't been that good, and he doesn't even attempt that many. And most of the ones he gets are wide open. Unlike Beasley, he's not open. But it's anyway. I just give Trajan credit for again, a lot of our guys were drafted by Troy. But still, Trajan deserves a lot. And then I even think there is something about his presence, his demeanor, the way he goes about things, the way he communicates things, just like JB. And they're connected. Another thing, I feel bad for Troy. Again, I was good with us getting rid of Troy, and I really liked the Trajan hire at the time. But Troy was not the one. Troy did not want to hire Monty. So, we cannot blame him for that. But anyway, we saw. So we're gonna get these, I guess, some famous people coming to our games. Julia Louise-Dreyfus was at our game again. The star from Seinfeld, for the second game in a row, she was at half court sitting at our games, and I know I'm not sure. She's from New York. I tried to look it up. So if any of you know, put it in the comments if you know why she's coming to Piston games. If she moved here, she knows somebody, if she's friends with, I don't know who. I haven't heard a word from Tom Gores in a long time. I haven't heard. I know he lives in California. You don't see him at games. I haven't heard any comments that have been associated with him. One thing I do want to talk about, I wasn't Nick Claxton. So everybody wanted Nick Claxton. Not everybody. Lots of Pistons fans, lots of you guys, people wanted us to sign with our money when we had free agent money. We wanted it last offseason. Everybody wanted us to sign a center because Duren's no good. So we wanted to get Nick Claxton, and he signed for 4 years for almost $100 million for 4 years, and he's got a descending contract, so he's making like $27 million this year, and it goes down to like 20 in the fourth year. But Duren's torn him up every time, and Duren tore him up tonight again. And he's not a bad player. He's the kind of guy, he can block shots, but he's not near as strong or tough as Duren. And Duren has pretty much dominated him in the last 2 years. So, but here's the thing that really disappointed me. It killed me. It killed me last year that we started Killian and had Ivy on the bench, and it killed me when he was the worst shooter in the league. He was one of the worst shooters in his first 4 years in league history. His effective shooting percentage, he just couldn't buy baskets. But I do think so much of it was mental. I think he's better than that. But why would we boo him? Here's the thing I don't like. If a guy has a bad attitude, I'd boo Jimmy Butler. What he did to the Heat, what he's done with every team he's gone to, he's forced his way out and was a jerk on his way out. Or James Harden, same thing. I would boo those guys if they were on my team and they did that crap and they came back. But Killian Hayes, he tried. He tried. He was terrible for the Pistons, but he tried. And mostly his defense was okay. He was okay passer, but he couldn't shoot a lick. And tonight he's 1 for 6 and 0 for 2 on threes. He had 4 rebounds and 3 assists, kind of like the Killian that played in Detroit. That's kind of the same stat line. So today was his last day of his 10-day contract. So I bummed out that he played bad. But I just don't believe in booing guys that had good attitudes and worked hard. And again, it was frustrating. It drove me nuts that he was playing over Ivy and stuff, but it's not his fault. It's the coach that plays him. He doesn't put himself in the game. So anyway, yeah, the Pistons, there's online it said that we had 23 turnovers, but they said on the telecast that we had 27 turnovers, but we did not take care of the ball. Part of that was because we lost interest in the game, and we weren't focused enough, and so we had all those turnovers. But we shot 54%. The big stat though, 15 blocks, and Stu and Duren together had 10, and that's the first time that's happened since Duren played. I don't know who else was the other guy that helped get us 10 blocks, but 15 blocks is impressive. And Cade had a couple, but Asar 23 minutes, and he was 6 for 9, 1 for 2. He had 13 points. He had a block, 3 assists, no steals, and he's been one of the second leading in the league in steals since January. Tobias had another good game. He has just been consistent for over a month. 32 minutes, 6 for 12, 1 for 2 on threes, 5 for 5 from the line. So that's really efficient. He scored 18 points, and he took only 12 shots. So he did have 2 turnovers, but he had 9 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal. Again, Duren was 30 minutes, 6 for 7, 6 for 6 on free throws, 11 boards, 2 assists, 2 steals. But the big one was the 6 blocks, and that's what we've been wanting from him with this 18 points. Hardaway, 22 minutes, 3 for 9. All of them were threes he attempted, but only 1 rebound and 2 assists he had, and 9 points. Cade, 31 minutes, 4 for 9, 2 for 3 on threes, and the 1 3 that he missed. So again, I hate this. It happened last game, but it happened again this game. Shot clock's running out. He's way out by half court. Some guy's all over him, and he just catches the ball with his back to the basket. They throw it to him when the shot clock's about to run out. He spins and he throws it at the rim. No chance of making it, but it counts for a miss. So hurts his 3-point percentage. So I don't like that, but I don't think those shots should count. But 7 rebounds for Cade, 9 assists, 2 blocks, 5 turnovers, too many. But Beasley played only 24 minutes because he got booted, but 6 for 10 from the floor, 5 for 8 on threes, 1 for 2 from the free throw line. Again, that's crazy that he shoots so well on threes, and his free throw percentage is just below average probably. But he had 0 rebounds and 1 assist and 2 turnovers. So Schroeder played okay. He 18 minutes, 3 for 5. He was 1 for 3 on threes, 2 rebounds, 5 assists, and 1 block. Fontecchio played only 14 minutes, but he was 0 for 2, and he had 3 rebounds, 3 assists, and he made some good passes. We pass the ball good, and we really are good when we run, and I'm just going to keep on saying this. Wait till we get Ivy to add to the guys that we got on the fast break, and wait till we play Holland more, because Holland really takes up. But all of our guys, even our old guys, are sprinting down the floor. How many threes does Beasley get on the break? He's wide open. He runs down as fast as he can to the corner, and we find him, and he's all alone. And it's amazing how many wide open threes he ends up getting. But Holland, 16 minutes. He didn't miss a shot. 4 for 4 on shots from 2, and then 2 for 2 from the line. 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 10 points. So yeah, it was a good game. We got the win we needed, and again, 9 out of 10 wins. But it's a fun team to watch. Thank you, though, so much for listening. I'll be on again on Monday. I hate the West Coast games because even after these home games that start at 7 o'clock, it's like midnight by the time I get everything uploaded. But I'm glad to do it for you guys. And so, anyway, be the reason that someone feels cared for, and go Pistons.